Something's wrong in that house.
lives a child whose soul is cursed by darkness.
Your son's possessed by a demon.
What do we do about it?
Evict them.
Ominous spirits.
Angel must save a family from one of their own.
Mommy?
An all-new Angel.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Slade, the Buffyverse Revisited. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Thomas the Tank Engine.
I'm your other host, Mr. Conductor.
And this week, we're going to be jumping into Angel, Season 1, Episode 14, I've Got You Under My Skin.
Yes, we are jumping into that episode that you said.
That I said.
Yes. I don't have anything else to add. I'm just glad that you keep picking who you are, and I'm able to adequately come up with a reasonable counterpart to that.
Okay, so next week, let's just play. Let's pretend one real quick.
Okay.
What if I were to say, and I'm Caligula?
That's it. That I would actually be stumped on that one. I really wouldn't have a good answer for that one. So
Incutartus? His
okay.
horse?
Okay.
The horse
Yeah.
that he made a senator?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, well, I know it's not that hard to stump you now.
No. It's one of those where if you had done that, you would have been like, I'm Caligula. I would have been like, and then we probably would have sat here in silence for a good 40, 50, 60 seconds before I was like, what the fuck is the horse's name?
A horse is a horse, of course.
And no one can talk to a horse, of course.
That is, of course, unless the horse
is the famous Mr. Ed.
Thank you. Oh, Lord. Most people have now quit the show. The seven listeners we had left.
As soon as you said Caligula, we lost the entire religious demographic.
Yeah, and the other half we lost were just people who were like, who? I quit.
Right, and the other portion of we lost were the stupid demographic.
Yeah, the dum-dums.
That don't know who Caligula is.
Yeah.
And if we didn't lose them, we just did now because they didn't know who Caligula was, and I've insulted them because they don't know who.
And they were trying to stay on the DL, but you threw them under the bus.
Right. I'm sorry, people. I don't mean it.
You'll have to flog yourself later.
Well, I was going to do that anyway, so.
Alrighty. Well, what's up, James? What's new? I haven't seen you in, 20 minutes?
It's been like 20 minutes. It's been like 20 whole minutes.
Yeah.
It was only supposed to be 15, but then I started fucking around doing other things, and then I was like, oh shit, I have to get back.
Yeah, every week when we have our break, I'm always back, and I'm like, well, we're like 5 minutes now beyond 10 minutes. No, now it's 15, and then finally you show up. You only have like one shoe on, and your dick's hanging out, and I'm like, what the fuck? What are you doing in these 15-minute breaks? Anyway,
if it wouldn't be funny if it wasn't true.
Yeah, exactly. So I assume nothing's new in the last 20 minutes, I assume?
Nothing's new in the last 20 minutes. I was reading, that's why I was late. So anyway,
I didn't know you could read.
I can read.
Damn. I got married and had 3 kids.
Oh, in 20 minutes?
In 20 minutes, yep. I am extremely potent.
Wow, well, congratulations. What's her name, and what are their names, and how old are they?
I don't remember her name, but 2 of the kids are frickin' frack, and the other one we just call Oops.
Oops, okay.
Yep.
And, well, I was going to ask how old they are, but obviously they're 20 minutes old.
20 minutes, yeah.
Between 20 and 0 minutes old.
Yeah. No, they're actually triplets, except instead of being born one after, they were all born literally at the same time.
Wow, that must have been truly excruciating.
Truly painful.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think was more painful, birthing the triplets all at the exact same time, or the fact that you don't remember her name?
Probably the triplet thing.
Yeah, I would agree, actually.
Because she calls me Ted for some reason, and I don't know.
Wait, your name's not Ted?
No, it's Tom.
Oh, fuck.
Thomas the Tank Engine. I said that when we started the episode.
Oh man, this is really embarrassing for me. Well,
conductor,
Tom,
why don't you sizzle us up some dates and deets, and you serve them undercooked this time so people get botulism.
Okay, yeah. We definitely want to try and kill off the rest of our people that are listening.
Yeah, there's only 11, so it should be easy.
As previously stated, we will be revisiting Angel Season 1, Episode 14, our 14th episode of the series overall. I've Got You Under My Skin. Our episode director this week was Robert David Price, and our episode credited writers are David Greenwalt and Janine Renshaw. Our original air date was February 15th, 2000 on the now defunct WB network. Our Nielsen rating for this episode was 2.9 million households when it first aired, ranking it 92nd out of the 133 network primetime shows airing for the week, and 5th out of the 16 primetime shows airing on the WB for the week.
Take a breath. And
holy God, Jesus. Our regular cast, as always, includes David Boreanaz as Angel, Charisma Carpenter as Cordelia, and Alexis Denisov as Wesley. Our guest stars this week include Elizabeth Rahm as Detective Kate, Will Kemp as Mr. Anderson, Katie Boyer as Mrs. Anderson, Anthony Sestaro as the Ethros Demon, Jesse James as Ryan, Ashley Edner as Stephanie Anderson, Patience Cleveland as the Nun, and Jerry Lambert as Rick the Clerk. My episode synopsis this week reads: Cordelia's vision of a troubled child guides Angel and Wesley to a boy who is possessed by a 10,000-year-old demon.
Well, mine reads: Angel and Wesley perform an exorcism on a young boy possessed by a demon. I think I win again.
Sure. So we open, and Wesley's showing off a knife to Angel and Cord. It's like, what would you call it?
It was a butt plug.
It was not. It was not a.
Look at this butt plug I found, Angel. And he's like, where did you find that? And he's like, out in the alley. And he's like, why did you touch that?
Right. And then Cordelia's like, and why are you showing it to us in your butt?
And why? And why did you come in here with your pants off? He just has it like folded and tucked under his arm.
So Angel's inspecting this knife that Wesley's put on they're down in Angel's dope ass subterranean pimp pad, and Angel's inspecting this knife that Wesley's laid on the kitchen table in front of him, and it's apparently a knife that's specifically marked to kill a Keek demon. It's got the mark of Kekfedalorm, I believe it was.
It's actually a cuck demon.
It's a cuck demon, and they're not that hard to kill. You just make them sit in a chair while you fuck their wife.
What about that makes them easy to kill, though?
I don't know, because really, because of what a cuck is, that would give the cuck demon, like, you'd think that would like give it strength, right?
There's a whole race of demons that are just cucked.
So if it's a cuck demon, then that means sitting it in the chair and making it watch you fuck its wife would give it strength then. So then the way to kill it would be to make it sit in the chair and then you don't fuck its wife. You just have to make it...
You make it fuck his own wife.
You sit in the chair and make the cuck demon fuck his own wife. That's how you kill a cuck demon. There we. I'm glad we talked this through and got to some results.
Get that down. See,
You
might run into a cuck demon.
You never know when you're going to run into a cuck demon.
Oh boy! Everywhere they go, they travel with their wife so they can cuck at any time.
Right, and a folding chair. And a folding chair.
Cuck stool.
Yes. Oh man.
Shit.
So yeah, Wesley's like, it's a knife with the mark of Kekfetalorm, so it can only kill, it's the only thing that can kill a cuck demon. Cuck demon.
You'll never be able to look at that again.
I'll never be able to look at it the same way again. A Kek demon. And Wesley's like, it could be very useful, and Angel's all like, well, it could be if Kek demons weren't extinct. Wesley gets all depressed, and anyway, a timer goes off, and turns out Cordelia's making brownies, and Wesley insinuates that they smell like shit.
Like literal shit, yeah.
Right. And then she wants Wesley to try them, and he's all like, why doesn't Angel have to try them? And anyway, Wesley and Cordy are going back and forth, and Angel gets ready to like chastise them, and he's like, Cordelia, Doyle, and he accidentally calls Wesley Doyle.
And they're all like, oh. I was like, what's so fucking big deal,
And he corrects himself and then promptly leaves the kitchen. And then we cut to...
No, you left out the part where she cut the brownies with the cuck demon knife.
Oh, she did. She cut...
I'm definitely trying one now.
Yeah. Then we cut to a house, and we see a brother and sister, and they're kind of fighting over toys and stuff, and it's apparent that they just moved into this place. There's cardboard boxes against the walls and stuff, and their mother comes in and says it's time for bed, and they're kind of like, typical kids. Oh, we don't want to go to bed, boo-hoo, yeah. And then the dad comes in and is all like...
He beats them both severely.
No. He comes in and he's like, you heard your mother, it's time for bed. And then they agree, and we cut to the mother tucking the little girl into bed, and she comes out of the room and closes the bedroom door behind her, and she looks at the dad, and she's like, do we have to? And she looks over at another door that has the son's name on it. It says Ryan, and it pans down to show that the door has been padlocked shut from the outside, at which point we cut over to the other door where the dad is also padlocking it shut from the outside. And that is our cold open.
And dad is clearly a physical abuser. I'm just going to lay that out there right now. She's got bruises on the side of her face. The mom does. The kids are scared to death of him. He's fucking putting cigarettes out on her cheeks and shit.
This is not an accurate representation of what's happening in the episode.
It kind of is. The way he acts for the first half of this episode, you're like, this motherfucker is beating these fucking people.
Yeah, I will concede that, yes, you are led to believe for a decent amount of this episode that he is abusive.
That he is like a prime grade piece of shit. Like he is USDA fucking blue certified shit. Really quick before I pick up and we go on. Rewinding really quick, and I know we've discussed this a little bit before, but going back to Angel's subterranean pimp pad.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think you asked me this before, but I don't think I've ever asked you. It's two questions here. This is a two-parter.
Okay.
If you get the first one right, you get a chance at the second one.
Okay.
No. So, Angel's subterranean pimp pad, or Duncan's dojo and loft. Which one you taking?
Man, that's such a tough question, especially now because as you're aware, and the listeners probably, I am going through a Highlander rewatch right now, and we are into, I think we're like 8 or 9 episodes now into season 2, so we're into Duncan's pimp pad, like we're into the loft, and the loft is so fucking sweet, man. The loft is so sweet.
And all that downstairs in the dojo to do shit.
Right, the dojo. But you know what? I think, man, it's tough, but I think I'm going to go, as much as I love the loft, I think I'm going to go Angel's subterranean pimp pad.
Well, with fucking real estate prices the way they are, you own a prime piece of fucking LA fucking office space with a living space underneath it.
Right.
You're set up, bro.
And here's the thing, and so aside from like the financial aspect of it, which honestly I wasn't even thinking about, the loft is clearly a studio.
Yeah.
And I don't care for that. I like Angel's subterranean pimp pad setup where like
it is a bedroom, very large studio though.
It is. But like the bed, like Mac's bed is right out there in the open. So I do like that Angel's got that separation from like for his bedroom and everything.
You're not into the open concept?
Not really. No. Like I don't mind it for like living room, kitchen, area type thing. But yeah, so
you're probably not a fan of those like modern houses where you can see like goddamn near everything from everywhere.
Like I said, like I don't mind it for like the actual living area. But like I need like the bedroom to me, and obviously like the bathroom, like it needs to be separate. Like I
prefer a glass door on the bathroom.
I know you do.
But see me poop.
Yeah, I know, because you've sent me videos, and no matter how many times I've asked you to stop, you just keep sending me videos.
Well, this one's special, James. I had chili.
Right. I must have gotten at least 15 I'll take you to the dock videos where in the background after you're done speaking I can hear you evacuating your bowels into the toilet.
Yes, and grunting.
Right. I shouldn't have had so much cheese.
I need more fiber in my diet.
But yeah, so I think for that reason alone, like just the separate bedroom area, I'm gonna have to go Angel's underground pimp pad. Not to mention the fact that you're gonna get some sweet ass sleep down there. No fucking windows or curtains.
That is the
Like,
point I was gonna make, was that the main reason I'm going with the subterranean pimp pad is because there's no fucking wind. And I know I'm probably in the minority. Most people want lots of windows and lots of light. I ain't like that. I guess maybe I'm vampiric. I don't know, because I don't really care for windows, quite frankly. Like during the day, I don't open them up, and I would like it down there. It'd be yeah, right up.
yeah, the quality sleep you would get down there because it's just so fucking dark. And I like and again, like, I'm like you in the aspect that if I could have a bedroom that has no fucking windows, that would be prime for me.
Fuck yeah.
Like windows like in my living space, like I'm okay with that. I like a nice summer breeze in the summertime, So windows in the main living space would be fine. If I could have a bedroom that is just like no windows whatsoever, yeah, I'm down. Also,
a literal mausoleum, yeah.
right. Also,
often.
Let's not even mention the fact of how many people just like walk into Duncan's loft.
Right? The fact that there's 3 entrances to that motherfucker.
Right.
It seems like people just come in they just come up the elevator, or they come in the side door, or they come in from the roof entrance. It's just like, fuck. What do you have locks, Mac?
Right.
Right.
Like the amount of times Mac walks into his own home and there's already people there.
Richie's like there, like fucking eating his food and jerking off in the fucking on the leather couch, and he's like, "What the fuck, bro? You got your own fucking place. Go there and jerk off." Why, Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, that would just piss me off.
Also, I have a question for you. Speaking of Richie,
mm-hmm.
Was Richie living with Mac and Tess on the barge in Paris?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He slept in the bed with them. Right in the middle.
Before I venture off into what I was going to say, let me ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Were Richie and Tessa fucking behind Mac's back?
Bro, it sure fucking seemed that way, like in season 2. Yeah.
Thank you.
Season 1-ish into season 2-ish before some things occur. It's like, are they because she's all pissed off when when her friend is using Richie as a virile young lover, and she's all like, he's hitting this. You got that? Not that. So
right. And there were times where like they just seemed they were like a little too like touchy-feely with one another.
Yeah, like whenever he would leave, he would like kiss her, not like on the cheek or on the forehead. He would like tongue kiss her. He was just like, go now, babe. Mac is just standing there like, what's going on here?
What is that? This doesn't seem right to me.
Wait, is he rubbing her on the outside of her clothing right now while kissing her?
So the barge thing, in rewatching season 1,
by the way,
after
now into Highlander, by the way,
after they go to Paris, there's times where it definitely seems, and I think they even specifically say at one point that Richie lives on the barge with them, like there's an extra bedroom, because that's another situation where like the main bedroom area on the barge where Mac and Tess sleeps it's just out there in the open in the living space.
Yeah, I don't the whole bedroom thing I don't buy. I think he's riding the couch.
But literally every time Richie shows up to the barge, he acts like it's the first time he's seeing them in, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like he doesn't right, like he doesn't show up like, "Hey guys, I'm home." He shows up like, "Hey, how's everyone doing?" Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, how you doing? Well,
right.
I imagine he gets up at like 5 a.m., gets dressed and leaves, and he's going around Paris creeping, you know.
He's going around Paris whoring.
He's looking in
Van
windows and you know, he's
Right.
peeping on people, and then they get up and he's like, oh, it's daylight. Maybe I can go home and Tess will make me some food and then maybe I can fuck her later. I mean, hang out with her.
Then
And
maybe Duncan will go to investigate some evil immortals, and Tess and I can get down to business.
yeah, maybe he'll do some more hacking on his computer.
Yeah.
As she calls
Okay. Okay. Well, this really has veered off into.
Yes, it has. Let's get back on track, guys. We're gonna come back to Angel investigations and that evening, and Cordy's wanting to have a heart-to-heart with Angel about Doyle and the fact that he called Wesley Doyle and all that, and he's clearly carrying guilt about the whole thing. He says he shouldn't have let him do it, shouldn't have let him sacrifice himself and shit. And just about then, whammo, Cordy gets hit with a vision or a stroke, one or the other. I don't know.
Well, she survives, so I'm pretty sure it's a vision.
Well, you can have a stroke and survive.
Well, that's true. That's true.
So she's got a. They don't say anything, but when we cut to the next scene, Angel and Wesley are parked outside of this house, and just like suburban looking house, and Angel's like, well, that's the house that Gordy said that all the anal gangbang was going on, and I lost my train of thought and I couldn't come up with anything.
So you went right to anal gangbang.
Anal gangbang, yeah.
Okay. It makes
anyway,
perfect sense.
Exactly. If you know me, you know that makes perfect sense. He's like, so yeah, that's the house, but everything seemed normal. Everything seemed normal. It was quiet. It was nighttime. Seemed like normal. And then they see this boy, the one that we saw earlier that we know lives there, but he's just like walking like across the yard. I mean, he seems. Okay. How do I say this without giving anything? Okay. Wait a minute. Everybody's watched the episode. He seems like totally normal. Like his eyes are open and he's just walking. He doesn't seem to be sleepwalking or anything like that. He's just walking through the yard, and there's a car coming, of course, which is doing like 170 miles an hour down this suburban road. I never understand scenes like this. You see them in TV shows all the time. Angel sees what's going to happen. He jumps out of his car, runs over, grabs the kid. They tumble over off onto the sidewalk, and the car like literally just flies by at like 1,000 miles an hour, doesn't stop to be like, oh, holy fuck, you guys all right? Like, my bad. I shouldn't have been doing 90 in this neighborhood, but this happens all the time in shows, and the car will always just fly by, and that's it. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty close to a felony, but okay. So he saves the kid, and the kid's all like, oh, hey, what's going on? And Angel's like, I don't know. It was a really weird back and forth between these two for a minute. And then the boy's like, oh, you hurt your shoulder. Angel's got like this giant gash across his shoulder, like an axe wound that he supposedly got from just jumping, whatever. And the kid's like, are you going to cry? And Angel's like, it was just so fucking weird, man. He's like, you going to cry? And Angel's like, no, pretty sure I'm not going to cry. And the kid's like, oh. And then Angel's like, yeah, so what were you walking? What the fuck's wrong with you, kid? And which is the first thing I would have said. But then at this point, the mother comes out of the house running and screaming, and I wish I'd given this scene to you. It's so fucking weird. Then the dad comes out, and the dad's clearly trying to get rid of Angel, but Angel's clearly trying to like figure out like what's going on. And because I was sitting here by my vision seeing friend, and So then they're all like, the mom is like, "Oh, you should come in the house and fuck me or something." It's so fucking weird. I I don't understand. Maybe I'm weird, but this whole scene just seems so fucking weird to me. The way they're conversating and the way that she's just like, "Oh, well." The dad's clearly the dad is clearly trying to get rid of Angel. Like, "Hey, thanks for saving our kid. Now, if you don't mind, fuck off."
Right. Kindly fuck off.
Yeah, and the mom is all like, "Oh, she's just going to tell them, like, give them their life story out on the street." And then she's like, "You should come back tomorrow for dinner." And the dad's like, "I don't, yeah, and Angel's like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Can I bring something?" And she's like, "Yeah, your dick." And he's like, "Yeah." And then porn music starts. No. And then like, okay. And then the scene ends, but am I wrong? Like, was that whole scene, that whole thing just not fucking weird?
Yeah, you're wrong.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I don't know. It just seemed like it was, I don't know if it was badly written, oddly shot, oddly.
No, I think her, so nothing against the actress playing Paige, the mother, but I think it was her acting in the scene that kind of made it weirder than what it should have been. Because we're like,
the boy was creepy, weird, not.
Well, I think
weird, not creepy, weird. Just I don't even know how to put it into words. The whole thing, I just felt like I was tripping or something.
I think that was deliberate. I think that was deliberate. I think her delivery of her lines in the scenes was weirder than what it should have been, because we should also mention that they do move into the house, Angel and the mom and dad. Like, we get into the house because
at which point he tells him his name is Angel Jones.
Yeah, because she sees the wound on his arm and she's like, "Come inside, we'll get that cleaned up." But I think so. My take on the scene is that we're supposed to be getting, obviously, from the dad, like we previously said, we're supposed to be getting abuser vibes from the dad. Like, he's not interested in having Angel around. He wants to get rid of Angel as quickly as possible. And then when Paige invites Angel for dinner the next night as thank you, the dad's like clearly against it. Like, he does not want Angel around. I think what we're supposed to be getting from the mom is a victim who wants to talk about what's going on. And I just think she's playing it a little more on the she's playing it weirder than what it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? Like,
super weird. And then the kid being weird, and I was just like, this whole thing is just fucking weird. And then he's okay.
Well, and there's a little bit of a payoff to the weirdness. Like, when he finally tells them that his name is Angel, she pulls out these angel figurines.
Yeah, and she's all like, "I collect angels, and you must be here to save or to watch over." I don't know. It's just
right.
What?
So I think the oddness in her delivery is paid off a little bit by that. Like, I don't want to use the term like she's a religious nut, you know, but kind of.
But she is.
And I think that's where, like, that weirdness is coming from in her delivery.
So I don't know. That
was my take on it.
It's not just her delivery though. It's the whole scene just seems so fucking weird to me. And I guess it must not have been that weird, but man, to me it just was fucking weird. But Anyway, let's see. So while Angel is in the house there, dealing, with them, Wesley's outside, and he's poking around like they're trash, and I'm like, what is he doing? Like, what is he trying to find in the trash? And then he sees all this like glowing green goo, like looks like ectoplasm from fucking Ghostbusters. And he like collects some in a vial and smears it all over his face. And he's just like, no, that doesn't happen. So they get back in the car, and Wesley's like, look, Placticine, which is, I guess, ooze that a demon excretes who's possessed somebody. And he's all like, so somebody in that house is definitely fucking possessed. Angel's like, yeah, I think it's the dad. He's a real creepoid. And as they pull off, the daughter's watching him out the window, like kind of creepily out, watching him out the window. And you're like, okay, so this whole fucking family is fucking weird. We get back to the office, and Angel and Wes kind of bring Cordy up to speed on what's going on. And they do, here we go again with computer hacking school. Cordy, who used to not even know how, like, who when she was in high school, didn't even know how to turn a computer on. Now all of a sudden she's able to fucking do a background check on these fucking people, which you can't even fucking do now. But back then, all you had to type in was tellmewhatIneedtoknow.com, and which is what she did apparently. And they do like a background check on the entire Anderson family. Yada yada. Is this where they? I think I fucked my notes up. Is this where they? Man, I'm lost here. I think this is where they find out about that they suspect it's an Ethros demon, right?
Yeah.
They suspect it's a mass murdering Ethros demon that's possessed this kid, and all these things that had happened in their previous locations they've lived in, and
well, not the kid, the dad. Angel's still convinced it's the dad.
Yeah, which we know it's the boy at this point because I just gave that away. So despite Angel's suspicions, the only way to be sure is to have the person, whoever is possessed, if they eat this Silas eucalyptus jizz powder or whatever, that then the demon will
manifest.
Like show itself basically.
Right.
So he's like, well, beans, I'm going to that dinner tomorrow. I'll just put some of that eucalyptus jizz powder in whatever I make, and then I'll force feed all these motherfuckers until one of them goes and shoots out fucking pea soup. And so he shows up at the house for dinner, and he's got brownies. And I'm like, oh, fuck, did Cordelia make those brownies? Because if so, nobody's going to eat them. So it's a pretty what's the word I'm looking for? We'll just say uncomfortable. It's a pretty uncomfortable dinner. The dad is just clearly like he exudes scumbaggery, like from the get go. Sorry, heard really, really weird noise behind me. It was just an Ethros demon.
No big deal.
Right. I got the eucalyptus jizz powder, so
good.
I can handle it. So yeah, it's uncomfortable. The father is just clearly a massive douche, and they get done eating, and she picks up the dishes and takes them. She comes back and she's like, "Look what Angel brought us. It's brownies." And so everybody gets a brownie, and then the dad is like, "This is your treat tonight. Not any, what was it, hot chocolate or chocolate milk?
Hot chocolate.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, Dad!" And he's like, "Shut the fuck up!" And he's because he's a psycho. Excuse me. And then they all. Here's the weird part. So each of them's got a brownie on their plate, and like one by one, they each kind of take a bite, and Angel's just sitting there watching each one like real creepily, not eating his brownie or anything, and the dad's watching Angel watching everyone, and this guy you just met the night before, wouldn't you be like, hey, you know what? Why don't you fucking take a bite of that brownie that you brought us?
Like, why are you, how come you're not eating the brownie, but you're intently watching everybody else as they eat this fucking brownie?
Right. Like, are you poisoning us? Are you going to gang rape us when we all pass out? Are you going to rape my whole family, Angel Jones? And, but for whatever reason, they're all just like, they're eating their brownies. And then the dad finally bites into his brownie, which is what Angel's been waiting on. And what happens? He starts choking. And Angel's like, I knew it, possessed demon man. And he gets a karate stand. No. And come to find out, it's not him. He's just legitimately choking on a brownie, which I've never heard of. While the son, meanwhile, is pulling an exorcist over there, and his fucking head's spinning around, and pea soup is flying out, and he's all like, "Your mother sucks cocks in hell," and that's a direct line from The Exorcist. And
it is.
And or if you watch the television, the network television version, you know how they always dub over the cuss words. This was one of my favorites of all time. He said, the demon in Exorcist actually says, "Your mother sews socks in hell."
Yes.
And it's glorious.
Right. Like her internal damnation was darning socks for
Like, your mother works for the loom. It's like, no. She always said she didn't want to go to hell and make socks.
Do you know what the demon's name in The Exorcist was? Do you remember?
Oh God. I think the last time I watched it was about 10 or 12 years ago. No, I don't. What was it? Is it Angel Jones?
It's Angel Jones. Yes. No, it's Pazuzu.
Pazuzu. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Where did I? Oh yeah. So the boys, and then all of a sudden his head just thump. he just like passes out. Just thump. Head thumps. He now has a fucking brain contusion. The mother runs over and she's like, "Oh, what's his name? Ryan.
Ryan.
She's like, Ryan, and oh, my poor boy." And Angel's like, "Your son's fucking possessed by a goddamn demon." And they're all like, "What? Where? What?" And he's like, "You saw that shit. Don't pretend like you didn't see that shit." And so then, like, starting right now, the father, Seth, becomes the awesomest, coolest person ever. And he's just like, "Oh my God, thank you so much, Angel." He's hugging him. He's trying to kiss him. Angel's like pushing him away. And he's like, "Dude, what the fuck?" And fucking Seth is just like, He's trying to reach him. He's like, "No."
Angel's like, "What do you?" Angel's like, "No, I haven't been that way for like 200 years. Like, I haven't
done that in like 115 years."
Right. Dude, come! You're not even my type. Get away! And Seth's just like, I need to thank you for helping my family.
Got him, and he's like, got a hand here. He's like,
right. And Angel's like, no. It's like Angel's like, just say thank you, dude. And Seth's like, I have to tongue kiss you.
So anyway, Angel's like, and here. I wanted to bring this up too. So he's like, "Okay, we can help the boy." And Angel goes, do you have someone you can call to watch your daughter? And they're like, yeah. Or Seth's like, yeah. And I'm like, fucking who? You just moved there. You just moved there. You've already said you have no friends and no family there. You literally just moved in. But he piped up with yeah, like so quickly, like, well, yeah, of course we do. We know like everyone. So I'm really curious. Did they just like did Seth just go outside and like walk downtown and be like, hey, is anybody around here like a kid watcher?
Kid watcher.
Or what, a babysitter, whatever. Kid watcher.
No, I like your version better.
Like, is anybody here? Can you come to my house and just stay with my daughter? And this real creepy fucking drunk guy's like, I will. And he's
I can watch your little girl for you. No problem, man. Just bring her. You want me to come to your place? I didn't do it from your house. If you want. And Seth's like, no, I'll bring her to you. And the drunk guy's like, okay, I could. Okay. Are you gonna pay me? And Seth's like, yeah, I'll pay you. And then the drunk guy's like, let me thank you. I've got tongue kiss you. And Seth's like, no. Oh, now I know how Angel felt. And the drunk guy's like, come here. Let me thank you.
And then he's like, okay, well, when you come back, I'm the third box at the end of the road. I got an extra box next to me that the girl can stay in.
If I'm not, listen. If I'm not there, I'll be at the interstate exchange trying to wash people's windshields, okay? Just come find me. I'll come back.
And listen. Do you want to... I'm a guru, a spiritual guru. And if you want to learn how to become one, all you have to do is learn how to eat a burrito backwards. Seth's like,
and then he's like, listen, if you eat the burrito backwards, I can take you to a higher plane of existence, okay? You gotta trust me. You gotta trust me. Do you trust me, Seth? Do you trust me? Do you trust me, man?
And then he's like,
and then Seth's like, I don't think I trust you.
He's like, but I will still let you watch my kid because.
But I'm still gonna leave my kid with you.
We don't know anyone else. We literally don't know anyone else. So anyway, after that sideshow, Angel takes them all, minus the daughter, which I don't understand. Why couldn't the daughter come?
Because contractually, that kid was only allowed to work 16 hours that week,
and they were all up on time.
And
I was like, why would you? I would be like, no, you're not separating us from our kid. We don't know anybody here, so the daughter's going to have to come with us. And he's like, listen, there's not enough room, so I'm afraid if you have no one to watch her, you're going to have to kill her. And they're like, okay, fine, we'll just kill her. We'll make another one.
Kill her.
We'll make another one.
We can always make another one. It's fine.
So then Seth takes her into her room and quietly, suffocates her.
He's like, Stephanie, it's okay, sweetheart. It's gonna be fine. You're gonna go to sleep for a long time now, and when you wake up, you won't.
When you wake up. Wait, you shouldn't wake up from this.
You won't. And then she's like, wait, Daddy, what do you mean I won't?
While he's choking her, he's like, shh, 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 go to sleep, go to sleep.
Go to sleep, baby. Go to sleep, baby. Go to sleep. We have to save your brother, who we've always loved more than you. Go to sleep.
We care about more. So yeah, Stephanie never comes back in this episode, and that's not a lie.
No, yeah, it is. She does.
She does. But for that particular day, she was all out of man working hours. So
Yeah, they'd already filmed everything they needed from her, so they're like, "We'll cut her loose. We can't pay her for."
well,
Extra.
like they're like, even though we've already established that these people know no one in California, surely they can find a babysitter.
Surely they can find a babysitter.
Yeah. Okay, so they're back at Angel's crib now, and Cordelia has mixed up, or no, he had already called ahead to Wes and told Wes to make this binding powder, which they put Ryan on. I'm assuming that's Angel's bed, or is that just his? If that's just his fuck bed.
Do you think he has two different ones?
Oh yeah, that's the fuck bed with the jizz stains all over the sheets and shit. Because he
still hasn't. That he still hasn't changed from when he was human and he and Buffy fucked.
Right. It's the same bedding. Go back and look.
Oh yeah. All I'm saying is he hasn't washed it since then either.
No, he doesn't have a washing machine.
No, he does. He always wants to sleep in those cum-stained sheets, so he'll always remember what happened.
Yeah, because he doesn't sleep in that bed. He sleeps in a coffin that he has in a closet.
No, that's a stereotype. Don't be that way.
But he comes out of the closet each day, each morning, or each night. So anyway, they put Ryan on the bed, and then they pour the binding powder around the bed. And Angel's like, no one cross that line or break the line, with a moving the salt or whatever, because otherwise he will eat your face. Don't go anywhere near him, no matter what he says or does. It's all just, trickery and yada yada. So he bails, which I'm like, okay, the most important person that should be here without leave to keep an eye on this demon boy is going to fuck off. Instead of sending Angel or I'm sorry, Cordy or Wes. He's like, Wes, you come with me. We'll just leave Cordelia here by herself with the two parents. And you and I, the two who could fight and know demon stuff, you and I will go elsewhere, okay? And Wesley's like, you son of a bitch, I'm in. And they fuck off. They're going to go find this priest who is like apparently one of the last few priests around that knows how to do exorcisms. But
don't they need a young priest and an old priest?
Well, not in the Angel universe, they don't.
Okay.
They apparently only need one priest because, again, he's apparently the only one within, I don't know, hundreds of miles of where they are that can perform an exorcism. So there's that. They get to the parish and there's this old bag nun up at the front pew praying and doing nun stuff. And
doing nuns.
Whatever the fuck nuns do. They go up and Angel's Wes is all like, yo, bitch, where's Father Fredericks? And she's like, he's at the, how'd she say that? He's outside. He's outside behind the shed or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And they're all like, okay, cool, thanks. And they go to head out there and she's like, he's the last headstone on the right or something like that. And they're like, whoa. And she's like, that's right. I killed that motherfucker. And I buried his ass behind the shed. And they can't do shit to me because I'm a nun.
Right.
And then she gives him a gang sign and pieces out. No. She's like, well, he was killed doing his last exorcism. And
I would also like to point out that this nun immediately knows that Angel's a vampire.
Yeah, and I'm like, fuck off. The humans, no. No, I'm not going to accept it. She's not any type of anything. She's just a fucking nun. But all of a sudden, she has special powers that she can see a demon inside this man. And I'm like, piss off. So anyway, she's like, yeah, he was also doing exercising an Ethros demon, except this Ethros demon was just an adolescent, and it killed Father Fuckface, whatever his name was, and
Fredericks,
whatever, close enough. And
which I don't know because I didn't look it up, but I would imagine is a deliberate nod to The Exorcist.
oh, is it?
Yeah, because I believe the author of The Exorcist, the original novel, was William Friedkin, Friedkin, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. No one cares. So no. So then they're like, but we need Father Fondle so that we can go and exorcise this demon, because they're like, this one is a full grown Ethros. And she's like, well, you guys are fucked, because he'll fuck you up, and Father Fondle's dead anyway, so he can't help you. And Wesley's like, fuck it then, we'll do it ourselves. And he gets some holy water. What is that thing called where they keep holy water in it doesn't have a name, like the holy water basin or some shit?
I have no idea.
It's just like a water fountain. It's been blessed so that all the water that comes out of it is fucking holy. Anyway, he dips out a bunch of holy water. And him and Angel are arguing about it, because he's like, no, because you'll get killed, and and I can't give blah 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 blah, and you're not physically, emotionally, or spiritually prepared. And Angel's like, or Wesley's like, okay, you do it, and he tosses him a crucifix, and Angel immediately drops it because it burns him, and he's like, okay, exactly. He's like, so I guess I'll be the one doing it. He's like that was cold-blooded, bro. And Wes is like, I know. So anyway, meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice, or Angel's subterranean pimp pad.
We're gonna go off on a quick little tangent here. Do you know who narrated the Super Friends cartoon? Meanwhile, back in the Hall of Justice.
The Hall of Justice.
Yeah. Do you know who that was?
Paul Lind? I don't know.
No, that was Mr. Ted Knight.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Huh. I did not know that.
Yep.
Let those who may not know, who was Ted Knight?
He was on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, most famously. He was also on a show in the 80s with J.J. Bullock. What was the name of that? Fuck.
You know what's it's stuck in my head is The Facts of Life, even though that's not it. Yeah, he was the father of the daughter.
The two daughters.
J.J. Bullock was like the neighbor in the apartment building. I can't remember what it was called.
You keep going. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
Because now it's bugging me.
So like I feel like the word life is in it somewhere, but I could be wrong. So Ryan has now regained consciousness from his head injury earlier when they let his head bounce off the fucking table. And he's kind of the demon apparently is tormenting Paige with guilt of, and he's like, mommy, help me, come to me, mommy. And at one point I'm just like, shut this fucking kid up. Then all of a sudden she fucking
too close for comfort.
That was it. Yeah.
Yep. Sorry.
So she does exactly what she wasn't supposed to do, and she goes running in there to him, breaks free and runs in there to him, thus breaking that binding circle thing. And he snatches a hold of her, and then he's using his telekinetic abilities to slams the doors shut and traps Angel and Wes in the elevator as they're just now coming back down. And he's like beating her and shit, like trying to kill her. Wes and Angel finally come down the stairs and rush into the bedroom, and they pull her away from him, and the boy loses consciousness again as the demon quote goes deeper into him, and then everyone there starts beating the shit out of Paige for damn near getting them all killed. They're like curb stomping her and kicking her in the ribs and shit, and but yeah, they're so. He repeats the warnings again. They fix the binding circle, and he's like, so just in case you didn't catch it the last time, don't break the fucking circle. Then he slaps Paige for one final exclamation point. I'd have just let him kill her. I'd have been like, you know what, fuck this bitch. We warned her, and so fuck. If
you're not gonna fucking listen, you're gonna have to pay the fucking consequences.
Yeah, you're getting choked out by an 11-year-old. So, Wesley is preparing himself, by the way, for this ordeal of this exorcism. And how does he prepare himself, James?
I don't know. How is he preparing himself?
So
I kind of had a thought that might be where you were going with it.
Well, he's taking all of his clothes off, one article at a time, very properly folding them neatly, setting them aside. He strips himself nude completely, except he does leave his dress socks on.
Yeah, of course. And he's wearing those those garters that keep your socks held up throughout the day.
Yep, I knew you were going to say that. Yep. Yes, he is. So Angel's checking on Cordy's progress, who's further researching. Learns that once the ethos is expelled from the possessed person, it automatically will try to possess the nearest warm body, and that's how the one killed Father Fondle earlier. Was it jumped in his body and offed him. So, and she's found out that the only way to prevent this is by obtaining this rare box called an ethos box. And she's like, but where the fuck are we going to get one of those at? And Angel, of course, writes down an address and hands it to her. And he's like, Rick's Magic and Stuff shop. If anybody will have one, it's going to be him. And he's like, so go get it. And she's like, bitch, I'm not your gopher. And then he's like, aren't you though? And she's like, you're right. So she leaves to go get it. This time, at least Angel's smart enough. He's not going to leave again because now he knows he can't trust these idiots. So Cordy is now at the shop, and Rick is like, I'm all out of ethos boxes. And she's like, well, what's that right there? Because there's this one that looks just like the one that she saw on the drawing. And he's like, that's a Shorshak box made by mute Chinese nuns. And she's like, instead of blind Tibetan monks. Yeah. And she's like, well, she's like, you think it'll fit? And he's like, yeah, it might be a little tight through the shoulders, but yeah, it should do. And she's like, all right, I'll take it. And he's like, okay, $6,000. And she's like, do you have any paper bags? I'll just take one of those. So Wesley is now beginning the exorcism with all of his Latin shit and holding the cross out and all that crap. And of course, the boy starts, how do you explain this? Like gets inside of Wes's mind and starts fucking with him and talking about that his father hates him and, he was a terrible watcher and he's just a total piece of shit. And then Angel's like, Angel's there too. And Angel's like, oh shit. And then it's like, well, by the way, he's planning on killing you, talking to Angel. And Angel's like, who isn't? And So then he gets Wesley gets shitty, so he's like rah, rah, and he gets really more animated, and he actually kind of his foot hits the binding circle thing, kind of breaks it, and then the demon's like and he telepathically fucking. This is brutal too, like that.
It really is.
It really is. Like the cross he's holding out, like he pushes that up and fucking Wes goes in Wes's fucking throat. He like impales him. He's like, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
And he falls back, and Angel comes to this rescue, and apparently it's not too bad because they just kind of wrap some gauze around it and give him a fucking Gatorade, and they're like, there, you'll be okay. And Cordy gets back around that time, and they kind of regroup, and they're all talking, and the room starts shaking and trembling. All this crazy shit's happening, and there's these toys and shit that were on the table that they had brought, and they all hit the table, and then they arrange themselves with the word "save me." And now the Ethros has got Ryan sitting up again, and he's taunting Angel, and he seems to channel Doyle, and is busting Angel's balls about Doyle and letting him die, and yada yada yada. So around that time, Angel's like, "Fuck this." He wraps a thing around, like a towel around his hand, grabs up the fucking cross, grabs the Bible thing or whatever the fuck he was reading out of, goes in there, and he starts doing the exorcism, and he's like, "Huma nama nama, nima nama nama, skabadabop, skabadabop, ooh-wah," and he's like, "Now get the fuck out." And
well, I have to tell you, I have never heard Latin recited so perfectly before. That was wow.
It's like it's my native tongue.
Yeah. Wow.
So he's like, "Now get the hell out," and then the demon jumps out, flies through the air, like an energy form, goes into that box, except the box just kind of explodes into fucking splinters, and then woof, it's gone. It's like goes up the elevator shaft, and it's gone. And what happens then, James?
Well, they're all kind of stare at each other, like, in amazement. And then we cut to some time after that, and they've obviously sent the Andersons back home, and they're trying to figure out where the demon could possibly be. And Wesley and Angel kind of come to the conclusion that it's going to have to take corporeal form to like recharge itself after losing so much energy escaping. So they head off to the salt caves, and sure enough, they find well, of course, Angel and Wesley are having a heart to heart as they're walking through these caves, and Wesley's like, I don't have any intention of killing you, and Angel's like, I know, but you're willing to, and that's good. And so, and then they end up finding the Ethros demon,
who strangely enough introduces himself as Simon.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, Angel, Wesley, nice to see you again. My name's Simon. I see you found me. What happens now?
Not much I can do because I'm really weak right now.
Right, not much I can do about it. I guess what happens now? And Angel's like, I'm gonna have to kill you. I'm sorry. And he's like, Simon's like, I get it, I guess. It's
No,
a
he's
little
like-
weird though, because you're a vampire, and I don't know why you would want to kill another demon, but it kind of smells like you might have a soul. So I don't know. Maybe you're trying for redemption or something. Whatever. I just go ahead and get it over with. I'm too weak to
He's
worry
like-
about this right now.
And he's like, but you really can't kill me, vampire. And Angel's like, oh yeah, why not? And he's like, because Simon didn't say. And Angel's like, fuck! And he just,
Damn it!
they have to leave.
Right. Angel's like, come on, Wesley, we gotta go.
Wes is like, what the fuck? And he's like, hey, them's the rules, dude.
Right. Angel's like, Wesley, you heard him. He didn't say Simon says. We have to go.
We have to fuck off.
Jesus.
Don't you know how to
Angel's
play?
like, Angel's like, did they have Simon Says in England? Jesus Christ. And Wesley's just looking all bewildered,
and
Wait,
Simon the demon's like,
he's all smug and shit.
yep.
So Angel and Wesley and the Ethros demon do kind of start talking, and the Ethros demon tells them that, you know, he spent a millennia tormenting souls, but he's never encountered anything that frightened him the way Ryan did. And Angel and Wesley are kind of like, what? And the Ethros tells them that there's no soul inside Ryan, that he's pure evil.
That he had the deepest, darkest, what did he call it? The deepest, darkest pit of like despair that there ever was, or something.
Right.
It's like, whoa.
And he basically tells them that he was trapped inside Ryan. Like, he couldn't even manifest.
And it was him.
He didn't even.
He's the one that did the save me thing.
Right. It was him that spelled out "save me" with the marbles, and he was the one that tried to sleepwalk Ryan into the street to kill him because he was so desperate to escape.
Yep.
Ryan. So Angel still kills the Ethros demon, which I thought was kind of shitty, honestly.
Yeah, I was like, damn. But come on, he has spent a millennia torturing people. So
Right? No, I get it. But at the same time, I was like, oh man, that's kind of shitty.
I was like, damn, that's kind of cold blooded, bruh.
So we cut back to the Andersons' home, and Paige is giving Ryan and Stephanie their nightly hot cocoa treat before bed, and Ryan is upset because he's got less marshmallows than his sister does. So we cut to later that night.
That's it. Tonight's then I'm killing everybody. That's it.
Basically, we cut to later that night, and we see Ryan sneak into his parents' room and steal his dad's matches off his nightstand, and then he proceeds to shut his parents' door, and he sticks like a door stopper underneath it to keep it from opening.
It's one of those little blocks that kids play with. Those like stacked blocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we see him walk into his sister's room where he picks up a fucking can of gasoline
Yes.
and dumps it all over the room.
Yep.
And then he lights the match and fucking drops it. And everything goes up in flames. And of course, Stephanie wakes up screaming, and she's yelling for her parents, and they're trapped in their.
No, they've already left. They're like, fuck this.
They're like, fuck this. We've had enough.
New one.
We'll just make 2 new ones. Fuck this.
Those 2 are broken.
Right. And they actually end up in Bora Bora, and they just started new lives in Bora Bora.
Yeah.
So the parents finally break free of their room, but they can't get to Stephanie because she's just engulfed behind a wall of fire. And of course, at that moment, Angel heroically crashes through the bedroom window and scoops Stephanie
Just
up
on
in his
fire.
arms.
He's immediately like, "Oh my god, this was such a bad idea."
He's like, fuck, I'm a vampire. I forgot fire's bad.
Oh, this was such a terrible idea. He's like, his hair's already burned off, his eyebrows, everything.
He's got Stephanie in his arms, and he is quickly able to see Wesley scoop Ryan up and get the parents, away from the fire into safety, and he jumps back through the window with Stephanie. And we cut to a little while later, and Angel and Seth are in the front yard, and the fire department's there, and they've managed to put out the fire. And of course, there's ambulance and police there, and Paige and Stephanie are huddled together, holding each other behind Seth and Angel in the background. And we see Detective Kate come over, and she tells Seth that social services is going to take custody of Ryan, and that they'll be able to see him in the morning, but there won't be anything to report or whatnot until after they evaluate him. And
I'm like, really? Is this how? I'm pretty sure they would have just straight up arrested that little shit and took him to jail.
And I think he's too young. I think he still has to go through evaluation and stuff.
They'd be like, this motherfucker's crazy. Take him away.
Angel thanks Kate for coming, and she just kind of gives him a cold nod, and then gets into the squad car that Ryan's in, and they drive off. And
while he's
Seth
choking her out in the back of the car, you see it through the back window.
And Seth laments to Angel that he won't be able to protect Ryan anymore, and that they're going to want to know and find out about everything, including what happened in Ohio, which, as we may remember from before, a friend of the family died in a mysterious fire.
He's like, also, what happened in Oregon? And Angel's like, what happened in Oregon? And he's like, you don't want to know.
You don't want to know. And Seth says that he is just trying to hold his family together, and Angel looks back towards Stephanie and Paige, and he says, I think you did. And Seth nods, his thanks to Angel, and he goes over and hugs Paige and Stephanie, and Angel heads over towards Wes and Cordy, who are at the car on the street waiting for him. And that's the end of our episode.
It is. It is the end of our episode. And Angel is still regretting jumping into that fire.
He is. Jeremy, would you like to tell me how many deaths we had in this episode?
I believe I'm going to say 1.
That is correct. Just the Ethros demon that Angel mercilessly killed.
Yeah, Angel's like, I want to thank you for being honest with us and helping us, with this. Therefore, I'm going to murder you.
Right.
Ethros demon's like, fucking figures.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, fucking, I get it. Whatever. Our music this week, just our original score, as always, by Christoph Beck and Robert J. Krall. Jeremy, can you please tell me how many soulless children you give this episode?
I've gone back and forth. I'm going to go 2.5 because that's right in the middle. Okay. To me, that's a dead center. That's like an average, like a C, like if we're doing school grades. Okay. It was good, but there were a lot of things that bugged me, which I brought up while we were going through it. Things that bugged me and like silly, like really, but it wasn't like one of those in your face, ridiculous, stupid shit like we have seen before on this show and in Buffy. It just just some things that bugged me. Even and honestly, even if this episode had been done like perfectly, and there were no silliness things here and there, or things that bugged me, and this had just been like a perfectly done episode, I probably still wouldn't have gone more than about a 3 on it, just because it's like, well, there was a movie I want to say it was like the 50s called The Bad Seed, which was pretty much this. This was like The Bad Seed mixed with The Exorcist.
Oh yeah, and the Bad Seed, like I think that's been remade a few times. There's like The Good Son and
the Macaulay Culkin Good Son,
right?
Right.
But yeah, this isn't.
This is no earth shattering anything new. It doesn't give us anything.
Hell, even Halloween, essentially the original premise of Halloween is that Michael, like,
I was going to bring this up. I was actually going to bring this up. That was like, I was going to say, are they saying basically that this little boy is basically Michael Myers? He has no soul and he's just evil.
Because what a lot of people, I think, and it's obviously because there have been so many, sequels and whatnot, but like the core concept behind Michael Myers and Halloween, and Loomis says it himself in the original, is that there is nothing behind Michael's eyes. Like, he is soulless. He is just pure, unadulterated evil. And that, to me, that is way more terrifying than anything they ended up doing with Michael Myers, as far as like, and granted, none of that really matters in like official continuity or whatever, but like the whole Thorn, thing where, he's, possessed or whatever. But like, yeah, just the idea that someone is just born pure evil is way more terrifying than being possessed by a demon.
Which I believe is absolutely a thing. I mean, pure psychopathy that's what that basically is. If somebody who is 100% a psychopath / antisocial and just devoid of empathy and things. Yeah, that's what you get. So so it's just a lot of tropes we've seen a million times before kind of wrapped up into one. So it doesn't move anything forward or anything. It doesn't give us anything new, like, oh wow. So I generally give those episodes a 2.5 or a 3. Usually a 3, but since this one did have a lot of, I don't know if you call them mistakes, but just silly things that drove me crazy, I'm going to take a 0.5 point off. So yeah, it's a 2.5. It's kind of fun to watch, but it's definitely not on any kind of list of must sees. So that's kind of how I feel about it. James.
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 5, I would like for you to tell me and our audience, how many Ethros demons in a box do you give this episode?
I give this 3 Ethros demons in a box.
Okay.
But it boils down to a lot of the stuff you said. Like there's a lot of like there's no new ground being broken here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of tropes rolled into one episode, to make the episode. But I am, I kind of said it when you were doing your wrap up. Like, I am a big fan of just the pure evil trope.
Yeah.
That's what I've always.
It's more scary than any demon or any
right.
Whatever else. Yeah, just like there's nothing there.
Right. And that's why Michael Myers has always been and always will be like my favorite horror icon, so to speak.
Yeah.
Is because of that idea of just unadulterated pure evil existing just because it exists.
Yeah.
Like no reason for it other than he was born that way.
Yeah.
So even the Rob Zombie Halloween remake tried to give it, some backstory, like his parents were abusive and yada yada, and eventually in the Halloween series we did get the Cult of Thorn, bullshit, but to me it's always been that just pure unadulterated evil being born into the world for no reason other than it exists. And I love that because it is truly more terrifying than anything you can come up with.
Yeah.
As far as scary things. That's why, kind of a little off track, have you ever seen the movie The Strangers?
Oh, wait.
With Liv Tyler.
No.
It's Liv Tyler's character and her husband are kind of in this quiet cabin, and these three people start stalking the cabin and they break in.
Gosh, maybe I have. I don't know. I don't recall.
Well, there's a scene in that movie where they've got Liv Tyler's character and the husband character tied to chairs. And Liv Tyler asks the three masked intruders, "Why are you doing this?" And one of them says to her, "Because you were home."
Yeah. Like you're just randomly chosen.
Right. And that's terrifying to me. Like,
yeah.
there's no reason.
It happens all the time in the real world.
Right. And that's way more terrifying to me than like dream demons, Freddy Krueger, or, Friday the 13th, Jason, because it's more, it's real. It's real.
It's real and it actually happens all the time.
Right. So that does kind of elevate this to a 3 for me, is because I do love that kind of we call it a trope, but
yeah, and I don't mean that in a negative way.
In a bad way, right.
Yeah.
But it is it's a more realistic evil than anything else, and that makes it more terrifying, scarier. So yeah, I liked the Doyle callbacks, kind of Angel accidentally calling Wesley Doyle, and because I don't think I feel like, as we're rewatching it, I kind of feel like there maybe should have been more of that kind of stuff after Doyle's death for a little while,
But they just kind of completely ignored it for
but they just so I do like to see that.
Another reason it's a point off is because fucking Kate. Oh.
She was literally only in it for like a minute and a half. Calm yourself down.
That's a minute and a half too long.
Oh my god. But yeah, so it's a 3 for me. It's a fun episode. It's not a bad episode. Or not a fun episode, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's not bad. It's worth a watch. It's not something I would turn off if it happened to be the episode that was playing on TV.
Yeah, it's not like it's. I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from seeing it if they haven't.
No.
I'm just saying it's not It's not like groundbreaking, earth shattering.
Right. It's not going on anybody's like top 10 Angel episode lists.
Right. If it does, I want to meet that person because I want to find out what the other 9 episodes on their must-see Angel list is.
Right.
Well, first would be the one with the floating hands. I'd be like, okay, I'm out.
Number 1 is definitely Sense and Sensitivity.
And then I Fall to Pieces is this number 2, and I'd be like, I'm out.
Right. So yeah, it's a 3. It's a decent episode. Worth a watch. In my opinion.
All right then. So, James,
Yes.
how would you like to tell our friends and lovers how they can reach us if they would like to do so?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Well, then,
No, BuffyRevisited.com. You'll find a link to our email, which is BuffyRevisited@gmail, a link to our Facebook, a link to our YouTube, and a link to our merch store. Hop over there, buy some merch. All proceeds will be going to charity at some point. And get your original Slade the Buffyverse Revisited logo merchandise while it's still available. If you want merchandise with the new logo, let us know. I guess I don't know how hard that would be to make happen, Jeremy.
what?
How hard would that be to make happen?
What?
If people wanted,
what happened?
if people wanted something with the new logo on it.
Oh no, that's easy.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
somebody wants that, just tell us.
Yeah, just hit us up. Let us know.
I could even throw some things on there. Another version of each one of the items that's already on there, but with the new logo, so they can choose.
Sure. Hop over onto the Facebook. You'll see our posts about the episode every week. Jump into the comment section. Leave us your thoughts, opinions, concerns, criticisms, praise, favorite recipes. Same thing with the YouTube. Every week, you're going to find the video version of the podcast. Hop into the comment section. Leave us your thoughts, opinions, criticisms, praise, concerns, favorite recipes. I'm really looking for those favorite recipes, guys. I've kind of hit a dead end with my recipes. Need some new shit to try out. So hit me up with it. And the same thing with the email, which I already gave. Email us thoughts, opinions, concerns, praise, criticisms, favorite recipes. Yeah, that's all. That's it.
All right, then. Next week, we are going to be bobsledding into Buffy, season 4, episode 15, This Year's Girl. How does that make you feel down in your plums?
It's probably one of the last 2 good episodes we're going to get for the back half of the season 4 of Buffy. So it makes my plums a little tingly.
All right. Well, then I can't wait for some more of that.
Also, how are we going to bobsled into that episode? We're not even Jamaican.
That's true. We can't do cultural appropriation.
Mm-mm.
That's wrong. You're right. We'll think of another way to get into that episode. And thanks everyone for joining us this week. We look forward to seeing you next week. And until then, I have been one of your hosts. I am Huckleberry Finn.
Oh my God. I'm your other host, Jim.
Ta-ta.